Hi, I'm Crystal. As a child, I was always nurturing and naturally loved dolls. When I became an adult and discovered Reborn dolls, my little family started to grow. There's Haley, Landon, Avery, Chloe, Shiloh, Grace, Jamie, Jeremy, Maya, and Yuki. Along with collecting, I have been a Reborn artist since 2008. It isn't easy keeping up with my collection, but it's a lot of fun. Hey guys, so I am doing another video about another Reborn movie I learned about over the weekend. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any way for anyone to view it at this time. I'm sorry about that. I found out about it a little bit late. It was playing at a film festival, I believe in the UK. That took place over the weekend, and the film festival allowed you to pay $5 to watch any, it was $5 per movie that was in the film festival, and you could watch the actual film online. And so last night was the last night that you could view the movies. So I just got in at the last minute to watch this movie, and I found out about it because Deborah Jadek, who was one of the ones that ran the doll show this year, I actually interviewed her in my interview video. Her, along with Letha Melman and I believe Sarah Melman as well, and a bunch of other Reborn artists had their Reborn dolls in this movie. The movie was called H, and I just have to say that I think the meaning and the point of the movie went completely over my head. It was a weird movie, and it didn't, the whole movie was not about Reborn dolls. There was just a little bit here and there about Reborns, but the movie, I don't even get what happened. I don't even know how to explain it to you guys, because I don't even really know what was happening in the movie, and I just didn't understand it at all. So basically, let me give you the rundown on it, because I don't even know if you guys will ever get a chance to see it. So spoiler alert, if you want to wait and try and track it down later when it maybe is on DVD or something, go for it. Otherwise, here's the movie in a nutshell. Basically, it starts off showing this elderly lady named Helen and her husband. She's, I guess, in her 60s, and she has a Reborn doll. And she pretty much treats the Reborn doll like a real baby. And it was really quite interesting because the actual opening credits to the movie actually showed a Reborn artist's hands, not the person's face, just their hands, painting a kit very meticulously, very well done. I'm wondering who the artist was that was painting, because they were doing a good job, and they showed them, baking it, and they showed them rooting, they showed them putting it together and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, this lady Helen, she had a Reborn doll, treated it like a real baby. They obviously did their research on it, because what was funny is that she actually made YouTube videos of her Reborn doll, just like many of us do. So that was pretty cool. And then she had actually a group of Reborn mummies that would get together, and they would alternate from each other's houses. And so this one week it was her turn to host the party, and so this I guess was where all the different artists Reborns came into play, because every woman that was at this party had a Reborn doll by different artists. And So they were just all sitting around talking about them, and one of them got a new doll, so she had brought her box to open in front of everyone, and they were like all excited to see it. And it was actually done tastefully in that sense. Like, I think maybe there was like an undertone of making us look crazy, but I think in general they did well at capturing, you know, like what our hobby is about, in that, you know, even though like she was treating the baby like it was a real baby, like she knew it was a doll. Like she wasn't, I don't think she was under any illusion that it was a real baby, like in The Truth About Emmanuel, because like, you know, she made the videos saying, you know, this is how you can like use the bottle to feed the baby and make it look real. And, you know, just things like that we usually do. And it wasn't really out of the norm or anything like that. She did take the baby out everywhere she went in a car seat. And she went to get groceries for the party, and yeah, the cashier was giving her some strange looks. But she didn't offer any explanation to him. She was just like, can I please get a bag for my groceries? Like, almost like, you know, do you have a problem? So it was interesting. Her husband was having these weird things happening, like seeing the fridge leaking water. And so he went to fix it. And when he went to take a screw out of the back, the screw started like floating in midair and started like kind of going upwards, almost like there was a magnet or something. And then he would have like these headaches where like he was hearing like these weird like high-pitched sounds and booming noises, and this and that, and it was really bizarre. And I thought maybe like he was getting dementia or something was happening, but we'll get back to that. So then anyways, he goes out on a fishing trip with his buddy, and she's having, you know, her get together with her friends. And then I think what happened is like her husband goes missing because something happens. And you kind of find out about it in the next half of the story. So it kind of skips from her story to another lady named Helen, who's a lot younger, and she's 4 months pregnant, and she's with her husband, and like they're artists, and they take like these really weird photographs, like photographers, whatever. They're giving like a lecture about their art, and then they go out to dinner. And then anyways, while they're at the restaurant, like her husband goes outside for a smoke, and while she's in the restaurant, like this guy just like freaks out because this glass that he picked up just shattered in his hands. And then while her husband's outside, he starts getting like headaches similar to the other Helen's husband, and just these weird things are happening. And then when they go out to the car to leave, there's like this big explosion that happens. Something falls out of the sky. They think it might be a meteor or something. It explodes. And so when this happened, the other Helen with the reborn doll, her husband goes missing. And the other couple go home, and weird things are happening with their TV. And whenever these things happen with their TV, they pass out. Just weird things start happening. The Helen that's pregnant thinks there's something wrong with the baby. She goes to the hospital, gets an ultrasound, and there's no baby. Even though she's got a big belly, she's tested pregnant, pregnancy test, whatever. So they're told it's like a false pregnancy, like her body thinks it's pregnant, but it's not, and all this stuff. But she's like, no, like I really think I'm pregnant, and all this stuff. And I just didn't really get what was going on. Obviously, I'm thinking there was something to do with like extraterrestrial, something from space fell out of the sky and was causing weird things to happen. So the other Helen with her reborn doll, like they just show the reborn doll occasionally now throughout the movie. They don't really focus much on it. It's more about her trying to find her husband. And the news announces that they found out in the woods near where her husband was supposed to be fishing, that there's like all these people that are like passed out and they're like in a comatose state, and they can't wake them up, except one guy. They're able to get him up, and he gets to a hospital, and so he starts talking about his experience and how like he heard the explosion and this and that, and I don't know, it was just weird, and there was really no explanation as to what fell out of the sky, except there's like this big huge statue head that's floating in the river, and they finally pull it out at the end. So yeah, like they finally pull it out of the river towards the end. You see these workers pulling it out. In the meantime, excuse me, in the meantime, the Helen with the Reborns finds her husband that they had brought him to the hospital as a John Doe. She finds her husband. The other Helen that's supposed to be pregnant, she goes wandering in the woods or something. And I don't even know, like she's just out wandering in the woods, and then she sits down because she's feeling like she's having contractions. Sorry guys, my voice is scratchy all of a sudden. She's like feeling like she's having contractions or something. And then all of a sudden, like this well, I don't even know, like it looked like a man dressed in a horse costume like walks up to her and comes like face to face with her and like does something, I don't know what, and then he leaves, and then it looks like she's not pregnant anymore. I don't know, it really was bizarre. So then she sees like an actual horse in the distance that looks like the horse costume the guy was wearing, but this time it's an actual horse. And the horse runs away. So then anyway, she's walking through the woods, and lo and behold, she comes across all of these people that are still like sleeping in the snow, that are like out in a comatose state. And she goes, and there's like a spot, like you can see that they're all like perfectly lined up in rows laying down, perfectly spaced, but there's a blank spot. And I'm thinking the blank spot was probably the other Helen's husband had woken up or something, and I don't know. Anyway, there's an empty spot. She goes, she lays down, she looks up at the sky, and then rolls over into the same kind of fetal position as everyone else and goes to sleep. And it's like, okay. Also, like another weird thing that was happening in the city was like the clouds were weird. Like they were all exactly the same size and shape, each cloud, like all in rows. It was really weird. And they were talking about it on the news, and they were like, they didn't know what was going on. They didn't really know what came out of the sky. And then the movie just ends with like one of the workers that had pulled this big statue head, excuse me, out of the river. He's looking into its eyes, and he gets this weird grin on his face, and that's the end of the movie. And I was like, huh? I like didn't understand it at all. I mean, it was nice to see the Reborns in the beginning, but then I don't understand any of the movie. I don't know what the point was. I don't know what was happening in the town, if it was extraterrestrial or not. No one explained it in the end. I don't know what the big statue head was for. I was just like so confused by the whole thing. So I actually wouldn't recommend the movie because it's very confusing. Maybe someone else would understand it. I don't know. it just went for me. Other than seeing, you know, reborn dolls that people I know have, artists that I've met and know have made, which was kind of cool. And seeing them portray the reborn collectors in a somewhat accurate light was refreshing, but yeah, the rest of the movie I just did not understand at all. But yeah, maybe what I can do is bring up on the computer and read you guys what they give as the movie description. But it still doesn't make sense to me. So let me just read that quickly. Okay, guys, so this is a picture of that head floating in the river, which I don't even know how that could possibly be floating, because it looks like it would be heavy enough to sink. Yeah. So anyways, it basically says H is a modern interpretation of a classic Greek tragedy in which two women, each named Helen, live out their mirrored lives of one another in the town of Troy, New York. The first, Helen, is in her 60s, lives with her husband Roy, and takes care of a small, extremely lifelike baby doll called a Reborn doll, which she cares for as a living baby. The second, Helen, is in her 30s, has a successful art career with her partner Alex, and is 4 months pregnant. One night, something falls out of the sky and explodes over the town. In the aftermath of this event, bizarre and unexplainable things begin to happen. Many people in the town go missing, Helen's husband being one of them, and unnatural cloud formations begin appearing in the sky. Meanwhile, the two Helens find themselves and their life spinning out of control. And that's all it says about it. And yeah, I just don't get it. I don't know what the classic Greek tragedy is that this is a modern interpretation of, but yeah, I totally missed the whole point of this movie. But I just thought I'd share it with you guys anyways, because it did involve Reborn dolls, which was pretty cool to see. But I still don't get the movie. So anyways, I mean, I guess keep an eye out for it. See if maybe it'll end up on DVD at some point if you want to check it out. The movie is called H with a period after the H. Yeah. Confused. Anyways, I now have to get some lunch because I'm going to be going to my doctor's appointment soon. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.